Coming up on the final edition of Extended Play. Gaming keeps you from going outside, but how else can it help the environment? Giddy up, we see if Gallop Racer can create a virtual sea biscuit. And we return to the arts and magic of live-action role-playing. Stick around.
I told you I should have been along for the ride.
It's game time. Hello and welcome to Extended Play, where playing games all day can actually get you a promotion. The ozone layer, the Amazon rainforest, video games. First glance, it doesn't seem like these things have much in common, but if you think about it, there are quite a few environmental messages hidden among all the shooting and the jumping. So, as part of Tech TV's Help the Planet Week, we asked the question, are games going green? On nature, conservation of the environment. Both are naturally linked to die, bitch! Video games. Hey, I'm not kidding. I'll admit, most games are about the complete annihilation of other characters, countries, or maybe even worlds. And some of the more popular games don't tend to take the Earth or Earth-like organisms into consideration. Still, some games throw in a message or philosophy about the environment, whether you realize it or not.
I think there is a connection between gaming and some kind of awareness of the environment, although clearly it's unintentional.
Mankind has destroyed everything, and you're humanity's last hope.
Me? But I'm not military. Wasn't there anyone else?
It's clear that there are many video games that instill very positive values in people who play them. And in fact, I think anyone who has picked up a Will Wright game will talk about the kind of effect it had on the way they think about their life or the world around them by playing SimCity and looking at how trash influences the growth of a city.
Whether it's a city or industrial recycling or an ecosystem, I think that for me is one of the big values of games, is that, you know, a kid can sit there and play with this very complex system and start to realize that, you know, the obvious solution isn't always the right solution.
Munch's Odyssey is another great example in recent years of a game that teaches conservation, if not manners. The game quickly and clearly shows that people who ruin the environment suck.
Step right up. Oh!
Even a game like Mario Sunshine, which is a much more abstract look at what the effects of environmental hazards or, you know, garbage and oil spills and things like that. I think you are basically teaching the players something about how the world works and how to think about the world.
But I think moving forward, you're going to start to see more themes that kind of explore these kinds of ideas. You know, as goofy as some of the stories can wind up being in some of the Metal Gear and Final Fantasy games, there are actually good, you know, interesting lessons behind them.
And if we're lucky, maybe gamers will apply those lessons to real life. Coming up on Extended Play. If you like horses but don't like the stable smell, check out Gallop Racer. And it's another trip to the jungle this year with Line of Sight. Welcome back to Extended Play. Littered among the bus driving simulators and games where you play a mosquito, one of the most popular game forms in Japan is horse racing. Now, while that sport isn't small time here in the States, we haven't seen much of it in video games. Well, things might change with Gallop Racer. A horse racing game. How can that be a good thing? You might be surprised. Gallop Racers 2003 is one of the most subtle, strategy-oriented racers we've ever seen. You start your career with horses one step away from the glue factory. As you win races, you will get cashed by better and better horses. But you'll need a lot of patience. Until you get the hang of the subtle control scheme, you're going to get a lot of nice views of horses' butts from a distance. Run, you stupid nag! And subtle the controls are. A good start is a matter of hitting the start meter at just the right time. Lean forward just a bit to speed up. tug the reins to ease into the right position, and ever so lightly tap your mount for a burst of speed in a stretch. Right here, I'm not touching the controller at all. Each horse has its own unique traits. Some horses want to lead the whole race. Some are more comfortable staying in the pack until the last stretch. If you push a pack horse to the front too soon, you'll always get past at the end. Gallop Racers is not for everyone. If you want a game full of arcade action, stay away. But if you like NASCAR-style strategy, you can place a bet to win on Gallop Racer 2003. We give it a 4 out of 5.
Yahoo! You're the winner!
The claustrophobic jungle environment of America's war in Vietnam is the perfect setting for a first-person shooter, emphasizing stealth and surprise. Line of Sight Vietnam captures the feel of a Green Beret Special Operations with a single-player campaign featuring 12 missions.
The enemy were headed for the ruined buildings, dragging the injured co-pilot along.
Whatever your goal, you'll spend most of your time in Infogram's new title, crawling through the windblown underbrush while stopping every few feet to carefully scout for camouflaged enemies. Since most missions put you somewhere behind enemy lines, the jungle is teeming with Viet Cong soldiers who seem to have superhuman powers when it comes to detecting you. Countering their abilities is your own superpower, the sniper rifle. That's right. Walk softly and carry a big sniper rifle.
Open up on them.
Despite the availability of a dozen or so Arrow weapons, including but not limited to a rocket launcher, your sniper rifle will by far see the most action. In a nod towards realism, players can however die from a single hit, which happens a lot, especially when there's limited visibility. Man down! Although there are some solo missions, most of the game puts you in command of a two-person squad. You control both soldiers directly, albeit one at a time. Any squad members not directly under your control will do their best to follow your orders.
Check your fire.
And try and remember where we left the car. The terrain in Line of Sight Vietnam is among the best jungle design in a game yet. The variety of underbrush and tree life plus realistic rain and fog effects combine to give players some idea of the difficulty of close jungle combat. I don't know. Medic! At $20, Line of Sight qualifies as a worthy bargain title with above-average graphics and solid war is hell gameplay. We give it a suitably evil 3 out of 5. Coming up on Extended Play, we get baseball tips from the Anaheim Angels' David Eckstein. And like things that return frequently, the Army men are back. Welcome back to Extended Play. As you may know, we here at Extended Play are set to go Hulk and transform into our late-night incarnation, X-Play. So in honor of that, we're dusting off some fine memories from the past 4.5 years. And one of the things we love to do here on the show is find a sports star and apply their playing know-how to our gaming know-how. And nothing was better than to talk to an actual winner, as we did with David Eckstein, the lead hitter for the 2002 World Champion Anaheim Angels. High Heat 2003 is one of the latest baseball titles to hit the PC and the PS2. It also has all the home run excitement that you'd expect from the 3DO series. But if you can't stand the heat, then get out of the kitchen or go seek professional help. Extended Play did just that when we headed to the old ballpark and caught up with Anaheim Angels all-star shortstop David Eckstein and got a few tips on the best way to knock them out of the park.
I'm the type of guy that likes to go out and play it first instead of reading the instructions. You know, play first, see how it feels, then go back and see what it is, what keys you need to be adjusting to. I never read the manual until I've already played it. And that game, I like to go the fastball way to start out. Later on, you know, it depends who you have pitching for you. Go with the slider and then the changeup. When you got like an 0-2 count, 1-2 count, or if they got runners in scoring position, you like to throw a little outside and see if they chase to get a ground ball or something, or just a swing and miss. Feeling It depends if you've got a fast runner on base. You know, if you have Erstad on there or something like that, you definitely would take off running. But, you know, some other guys, you just play station to station. If you have first and second, you know, use that bunt. But it's hard to bunt with just a man on first in that game. You want to swing for the home run, so you try to play aggressively, a lot more aggressively than in real life. I definitely try to swing for the fences in the game, but it's pretty much realistic. I usually get jammed a lot and have a ball fall right in front of the right fielder or something like that.
In an effort to milk the Heroes of Might and Magic franchise to death, 3DO has now unleashed Winds of War. This is the second expansion pack for Heroes 4 to see the light of day in less than a year. For fans of the long-running strategy series, this means 6 new campaigns to work through. Each one lets you play as an invading force in the land of Sharon. There's a barbarian, a wizard, a little pansy elf, and some undead skeleton dude, and...
Spasmaticus, a young king on a mad quest to rule the world.
Ooh, a mad quest? Count me in! The campaigns all play well, and the graphics and core rules of Heroes 4 have aged nicely. Developer New World Computing also included new musical selections, and they are the same high-quality compositions we've come to expect from the series. What we didn't expect was the slew of standalone scenarios that are actually amateur maps created by fans of the game. While some play quite well, others are not the quality you expect when you're shelling out cash for an expansion. In fact, at $30, Winds of War isn't worth it, as there's just not enough new material. Die-hard Heroes fans will no doubt run out and buy this anyway. But for the rest of you, save your money. Extended Play gives Heroes of Might and Magic 4 Winds of War a 2 out of
5. Green War efforts are seriously threatened, but the legend of the merciless Tan Baron has found few challengers brave enough to stop him.
Much as a newsreel about the mythical war between Green and Tan Army men might imply that there's some fun to be had with 3DO's latest offering for the GameCube, the simple fact of the matter is that the game is a total disappointment. Army Men Air Attack has already played out over other platforms, and fans of the series should probably get their heads examined. For the uninitiated, however, the game allows players to assume the role of veteran Green Army pilot Bill Blade.
I told you I should have been along for the ride.
Apparently, Bill is the only plastic ace with the chops to take down the rival Tan Uber pilot, Baron Von Beige.
I have arrived.
What follows is a series of 20 missions that play out over 10 real-world locations, very much like you might find in your own backyard. While this might sound like fun at a glance, I very much doubt the game can hold your interest beyond the first few levels.
I'll ride shotgun for you, man. Helping
Blade along are a couple of co-pilots whose areas of expertise vary between napalm bombs and being able to call in a parachute drop.
We're on the way!
Additionally, there are a variety of weapons power-ups available.
Machine gun!
And perhaps most notably is your chopper's ability to crane lift assorted objects like Sparky's dog food bowl here, and then toss them at your assorted enemy types. Whoop-de-doo! Unfortunately, none of this is executed very well, so you're going to end up fighting your sloppy controls more than an actual Tan Army. So much as we like the idea of escorting a Mr. Potato Face into hostile territory, we can only afford Army Men Air Attack the Elite missions, an underwhelming 2 out of 5.
CO2. We're on the way!
Coming up on Extended Play. Grab your face paint and a lot of imagination. We're LARPing. Welcome back to Extended Play. Rally racing is still something of a mud-splattered oddity in the U.S., nor is the racer Colin McRae exactly a household name. But Codemasters is working very hard to change all that, and the results are extremely pleasing. While it's true that Colin McRae Rally 3 offers fewer cars, gameplay modes, and tracks than its previous version, it features a muscular homebrewed game engine that really delivers. Since Colin McRae currently drives the Ford Rally Sport Team, when you play the game, that means you do too. Ultimately, though, a selection of over a dozen cars are unlockable, as well as some modular car improvements and multiplayer options.
4 right tightens to 3 over crest.
Along for the ride in Championship mode is co-driver Nikki Grist, who supplies the navigational notes for you.
And 6 left, into left and 5 right over crest.
Delivered in Grist's no-nonsense monotone, at first it may seem like gibberish. Soon, however, you'll find yourself taking them very seriously. Or else. Alternately, if you'd like to increase the overall gibberish factor, you can have them address you in French.
Prudence, long par-dessus crête.
What? Sounds awesome, doesn't it? Well, it is, for the most part. But a few minor annoyances keep it on the other side of the velvet rope from our 5-star lounge. For example, why does our speeding rally car occasionally knock a big A-frame boundary marking advertisement sign effortlessly aside, and yet get stopped cold when we hit a spindly road sign pole? That ain't right. Similarly frustrating, sometimes the boundary marking adverts will suddenly open up a can of a movable object on you. I'm all confused.
30.
These niggly inconsistencies aside, Colin McRae Rally 3 is a beautiful, realistic, and smooth translation of the rally racing experience. Challengingly addictive, we're giving it a check it out. 4 out of 5.
4 right over crest.
Ah, nature. Trees, the clean air, the silence, the nights, the elves, fighting, together. There's something serious happening here, and I'm going to find out what's going on.
Paradise!
I'm Caleb Durst. I'm a SAR, half feline, half human, basically.
I'm Midnight the Half-Orc, protector of Ecclesia.
What's going on?
There's a murder, attempted murder committed a week ago.
What's going on?
My friend, when you deal with nobles, everything goes much more out of proportion than it should be.
What's going on exactly?
This man has attempted murder on a Blood Talon and an Earth Coalition member.
I still don't know what's going on.
Yeah! Orc power!
Apparently, somebody has annoyed somebody else here. That much I know is going on.
Okay. Arrest him!
Why are you going to arrest him?
Too magic, too magic, too magic!
Does it have a wall of power around it? No. Then no, you don't have a battle arena.
What exactly is going on right here?
Right now, what happened is some hill giants which are very tall. One of our friends, our half-orc, Midnight, the leader of our Earth Coalition, he got into an honorable combat. He got into an honorable combat as well as the mediator war as well as
All right, you a Niners fan?
Try to. Yes, I am.
Yeah, I saw that Mariucci thing coming from a mile away. How about you?
I don't know.
We're going to do this by the numbers, everyone. The fighters are going to be up front. We want casters backpacking the fighters. Who has life spells here? Raise your hand.
Onwards to victory!
Seems the battle has begun. No matter how many times you see this, you really just can't get used to just the gravity of the carnage.
All right, come on, get the wood over here.
Just want to double check about why you have to burn the trolls after you kill them.
They regenerate. So if they burn them, they can't regenerate.
You never know when you're going to get hit with a death spell or something bad.
Right.
So you might as well enjoy what life you've got while you've got it. You know?
Oh, that's a very simple and beautiful philosophy, especially from a rat.
Another day of justice served.
It's the end of the day, and like all good warriors, it's time to go home. I've seen some orcs, I've seen some knights, I've seen some stuff I'm not going to forget anytime soon.
That has got to hurt. Really, he was one of the saddest looking jesters I ever did see. If you'd like to learn more about live-action role-playing or live-action anything, you can find it all at our website, extendedplay.com. And while you're there, read the reviews for all the games covered on today's show. Well, this is it, the final episode of Extended Play, as we move on to a bigger, brighter, and racier future on X-Play starting April 28th. Now, that show's going to have a new set, so we've got to give a goodbye to the Metreon here. And I think I'm going to start to miss this place. All these memories.
Adam, you've been here for over 2 years. It's time to find a new arcade.
Okay, well, until X-Play, game over. Well, let me get my knapsack. You know, my bag's in there. Bye, Metreon. Bye, guy who works here. Bye, electronic information board. Bye, kid. Bye, security guard. Ow, my eyes hurt. This is so bright. Ow! That in the air is like fresh or something. I don't understand what's going on. What's all this stuff out here? What is everyone doing? Adam! Out there! Ow! Oh, here we go. All right, take a deep breath. You're a special guy.